here in North Platte, Nebraska, out at the end of Buffalo Bill Boulevard, across the road from the Buffalo Bill Wild West Rodeo Arena at the Buffalo Bill Ranch State Park. There's few places in the American West that you could go, I think, that illustrate quite so clearly the way that the history of the transformation of the American West has been told by the victors, and that illustrate that that transformation really was the product of a war and a product of a conquest. By the end of the 19th century, there were few Americans as famous nationally or internationally as William Buffalo Bill Cody. Cody was famous in part because of his biography, which included childhood in Bleeding, Kansas, time as a Pony Express rider, a bison hunter for the Transcontinental Railroads, an Indian scout for the United States Army in the Indian Wars of the 1860s and the 1870s, and ultimately as a showman. Bill Cody was known for his flamboyant outfits, for his thigh-high leather boots, for his goatee beard, and for his Wild West exposition, which he brought all of the supposed pageantry of the wars for the American West to urban audiences all over the United States and ultimately all over the world. Buffalo Bill's version of American history, the history of the American West, and its popularity with American audiences in the West is illustrated by just the landscape itself. There's Buffalo Bill birthplaces, burial places, ranches, and many, many other features of the landscape that celebrate and today try to take some advantage of this biography of Buffalo Bill. But I think Buffalo Bill's story also illustrates to us the underlying realities of the transformation of the West, which was that it was a war. It was a conquest. And that's illustrated in Buffalo Bill's history as a buffalo hunter, for one. A man who became famous for killing thousands of bison, for destroying the bison herds that were part of the natural heritage of this region, not least the food source and the basic raw material of so much of the life of the Native American tribes of the Great Plains. Cody also used his skills and his knowledge and his understanding of Native American cultures and their history and their ways of life against them as an Indian scout, helping to lead the United States Army against Native Americans, to drive them out of this territory, to subdue them and to subjugate them and to concentrate them on reservations in the 1860s and the 1870s, and to open up this territory for new settlers. The town square, the county courthouse, just a few miles from here, at the center of North Platte, Nebraska, I think illustrates the way that story was told, at least in the early 19th century, because there, right in front of the county courthouse, where the Superior Court meets and the business of law and order in this county, like counties all across the United States, takes place, has a statue of a Native American on the lawn. And on the side of the statue is an inscription that says that this is a memorial to those who lost their lives in the conquest of an empire. So the people who settled here recognized that this is what the transformation of the West was about, and they celebrated it, and they celebrated their heroes like Buffalo Bill Cody. And so here we have a story of complexity, a story which has victors and which also has survivors, but which has a history which has so often been told by those people who were the victors, people who were like Buffalo Bill Cody.